Hello, Los Angeles Dodgers fans. We've got fresh, exclusive videos and the latest updates just for you. Before we dive in, make sure to join our channel and hit that like button. This is the best way to stay on top of all the breaking news. The Los Angeles Dodgers might already be stacked when it comes to starting pitching, but that hasn't stopped the rumors from heating up with the trade deadline looming. One name that's now circling the headlines, Joe Ryan, the right-handed ace from the Minnesota Twins. And look, we're not talking about just another arm here. This is a guy who's coming off his first All-Star selection and has been dealing, all season long, a pitcher with pinpoint control, strikeout stuff, and under-team control for not just the rest of this season, but to more years after that. That kind of profile doesn't come cheap, and it certainly doesn't become available often. So yeah, even with the Dodgers sitting on a surplus in the rotation, the mere fact that Ryan's name is being mentioned in the same sentence as Los Angeles is enough to make people stop and take notice. Here's the thing, though, the Twins were just in town, and Ryan didn't pitch in that series. That might have been a missed scouting opportunity, sure, but the Dodgers took 2 out of 3 in that matchup without even seeing Ryan on the mound. And yet, trade chatter between these two clubs has been bubbling beneath the surface, with outfielder Harrison Bader and relievers like Griffin Jax and Joan Duran also popping up in connection to LA. So now the question becomes, is Joe Ryan really on the table? Or is this just a case of teams doing their due diligence on a name that's more dream than reality? According to the Athletics' big trade deadline board, Ryan does appear on the list of players who could be moved, even if it's not particularly likely. And yes, the Dodgers were highlighted as a potential fit. That's notable, not because LA is desperate for a starter, but because they've got the type of depth and prospects to make almost any deal they want. They've even considered moving Dustin May, who's working his way back, either in a deal or perhaps sliding into a bullpen role that gives them some wiggle room. And when you're a team with championship ambitions, flexibility is everything. But back to Ryan, the Twins aren't actively shopping him, not even close. He's 29, he's entering his prime, and with that kind of team control, Minnesota has every reason to hold on tight unless someone absolutely blows them away with an offer. That said, it's no surprise teams are calling. Since making his debut in 2021, Ryan has quietly become one of the most efficient starters in all of baseball. 7th best strikeout-to-walk ratio in the majors since he arrived, a career era under 4. And in the last 2 seasons alone, only Tarik Skubal has a better K/BB ratio. We're talking about a guy who attacks the zone, limits hard contact, and keeps hitters guessing. That kind of reliability on the mound, that's gold in October. So why would the Dodgers even entertain the idea of swinging big for Ryan if they don't necessarily need a starter? Well, that goes back to the current state of their bullpen, and it's not pretty. Michael Kopech is down, Tanner Scott got hurt, Brusdar Graterol hasn't been available, Kirby Yates hasn't looked like himself. It's gotten to the point where Blake Trinan, who just got back from the injured list, is basically the last man standing among the high-leverage right-handers. That's not exactly the foundation you want to be leaning on when the postseason is right around the corner. Given all that, it's pretty clear the Dodgers' priority should be reinforcing the bullpen, not chasing top-of-the-market starters like Ryan. But if they're already deep in conversations with the Twins about Joan Duran or Griffin Jax, it only makes sense that someone in the room is going to bring up Ryan's name. That doesn't mean anything is close. It doesn't even mean the Twins are listening. But in the game of trade negotiations, especially this close to the deadline, it's all about planting seeds and seeing which ones sprout. And maybe, just maybe, there's a scenario where the Dodgers decide to make a mega offer. Something that includes top-tier prospects, maybe even 1 or 2 major league pieces, just to see if Minnesota bites. But unless the Twins are quietly looking to reset or shift focus to the future, it feels like Ryan is one of those names that gets floated but ultimately stays put. Still, for Dodgers fans hoping for something big, it's hard not to dream a little, especially when the front office has a history of making deadline moves that catch everyone by surprise. Now, shifting gears just a bit, Tanner Scott, the lefty, had everyone holding their breath after exiting a game against Minnesota with what was initially described as a forearm issue. Anytime you hear forearm tightness with a pitcher, the red flags go up immediately. That's usually the warning siren for something more serious, sometimes even season-ending. But in Scott's case, the news was actually encouraging. MRI results revealed no ligament damage, just inflammation. That's a huge sigh of relief. not just for the Dodgers medical staff, but for a bullpen that can't afford to lose anyone else. Scott, to his credit, has already begun his throwing program. He's started playing catch, the first step in what's always a carefully monitored progression back to game action. From here, it's a matter of how his arm responds. If he bounces back well from each session, the team will gradually increase the intensity. Long toss, flat ground work, bullpen sessions, live batting practice, and eventually a rehab assignment. There's no set date for his return just yet, but manager Dave Roberts made it clear that they're optimistic. He still believes it'll be a relatively short stint on the injured list, although he admitted that the nature of the injury means they're going to be cautious. Regardless of how good Scott says he feels, now let's be honest, the Dodgers need Scott back, badly. Not just because he's a lefty who can handle high-leverage situations, but because right now, they're operating without a true safety net in late-inning spots. And even if Scott isn't at 100% right away, just having him available could change the way Roberts manages matchups. The bullpen is hanging by a thread, and reinforcements are needed yesterday. That brings us back to the broader picture. As much as the Joe Ryan rumors are exciting, the real action at this deadline is likely going to come down to relievers. The Dodgers have already been linked to several names, and the front office knows exactly where the holes are. This team isn't in rebuild mode, they're in go-for-it mode. Every decision from now until Thursday is going to be about positioning themselves for October, whether that means rolling the dice on a blockbuster move or simply patching the bullpen. With reliable arms, the stakes are high, the window is wide open, and with a roster already built to contend, the right deadline additions, or lack thereof, could end up being the difference between another deep playoff run or another early exit. Meanwhile, Scott is doing everything he can to get back into the mix after feeling that sharp sting in his forearm on a fastball that barely cracked 86 miles per hour. He feared the worst, and who could blame him? At 31, he's never dealt with a serious arm injury before. That kind of unfamiliar pain can rattle even the most experienced veterans, but now, with a clearer head and the knowledge that it's just inflammation, he's focused on taking the right steps. No shortcuts, no pushing the hard, just staying locked in on each phase of the recovery. The Dodgers, meanwhile, will be watching closely, because as the deadline clock ticks down, every healthy arm counts. And in a season that's already seen more than its fair share of injuries, the margin for error is razor thin. The front office is weighing every possibility, the coaching staff is adjusting on the fly, and fans, well, they're just hoping that somewhere in all this chaos, the pieces fall into place, whether it's Joe Ryan, a bullpen boost, or a miracle return for Tanner Scott right when the team needs him most. So now, as we sit just hours away from the trade deadline, the focus turns fully to what kind of moves the Dodgers are actually prepared to make, and which ones are just noise. It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of speculation this time of year. Every whisper becomes a headline, every internal discussion turns into a rumor. That's the nature of late July in Major League Baseball, but behind closed doors, front offices are operating with calculated precision, and for a team like the Dodgers, those calculations are sharper than ever. The urgency is real. Not because the Dodgers are in trouble, but because they are in contention. They know what it takes to win in October, and more importantly, they know where their current vulnerabilities lie. Rotation depth might look strong on paper, but the bullpen is walking a tightrope. It's a delicate balance between not overreacting and not missing a critical opportunity to shore up the roster for what they hope will be a long postseason run. That's the line the Dodgers are walking right now. But before we move forward, don't forget to join our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep delivering the latest news about the Los Angeles Dodgers. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the news, so drop a comment below. A major stir seems to be brewing in Major League Baseball circles following a recent announcement that has sent fans and analysts into a whirlwind of speculation. Freddie Freeman, the stalwart first baseman of the Los Angeles Dodgers, has reportedly declared his intention to leave the team. Although no official confirmation has come from the Dodgers organization yet, the buzz around this possible departure is hard to ignore, sparking intense debate and curiosity about what the future might hold for both Freeman and the storied franchise. Freddie Freeman, widely regarded as one of the most consistent and clutch performers in baseball today, has been a key pillar for the Dodgers ever since his high-profile move to the West Coast. Known for his smooth swing, impeccable defense, and leadership qualities, Freeman quickly became a fan favorite and a clubhouse cornerstone. His presence in the lineup not only adds stability, but also delivers critical runs during high-stakes moments, given his impact. Any news hinting at his exit naturally triggers a wave of questions. Why now? Where could he be headed? What does this mean for the Dodgers' championship aspiration? The rumors surrounding Freeman's decision have been steadily gaining traction, with insiders suggesting a variety of potential motivations. Some speculate that Freeman might be seeking a fresh challenge, possibly longing to return to his roots or explore a new market, where his veteran experience could be the missing piece for a contender in need of leadership and clutch performance. Others believe contract dynamics might be at play. After all, managing payroll and future commitments is a delicate balancing act for any team. It's conceivable that the Dodgers are weighing the financial implications of retaining a star whose value continues to rise against their long-term strategic plans. Another angle fueling the rumor mill is Freeman's own career trajectory. At this stage, a player of his caliber often considers not just the next season but legacy, playoff opportunities, and personal priorities, including family and lifestyle. Could it be that the Dodgers' current setup no longer aligns with his ambitions? Or that he sees a better shot at a World Series ring elsewhere? Teams hungry for a veteran presence are undoubtedly monitoring the situation closely, ready to swoop in if the opportunity rises. The landscape of MLB is known for sudden shifts, and Freeman's potential move could trigger a cascade of roster reshuffles across the league. Moreover, the Dodgers themselves are likely contemplating how to address such a significant roster change. Losing a player of Freeman's caliber is no small matter. It requires a recalibration of strategies both offensively and defensively. The team might look toward promoting promising talent from within their farm system, or targeting available free agents who could fill the gap. Yet, the intangibles Freeman brings, leadership, experience, and clubhouse chemistry, are not easily replaced. This possible transition period could define the Dodgers' approach to the coming season and influence their quest for sustained dominance. The fan reaction to the news has been intense, reflecting the emotional connection many have developed with Freeman. Social media platforms have been flooded with mixed sentiments, some expressing shock and sadness at the idea of losing such a beloved player, others speculating on the exciting possibilities his departure might open up for the team's evolution. Sports commentators and analysts are busy dissecting what this move would mean statistically and culturally, debating the ripple effects across the league. In the meantime, Freddie Freeman himself remains tight-lipped, neither confirming nor denying the rumors but maintaining a professional focus on the current season. This silence only adds fuel to the fire, leaving the baseball world eager for clarity. As the off-season approaches, the whispers are expected to grow louder, with negotiations and behind-the-scenes talks possibly shaping the final outcome. Should Freeman officially announce his departure, it will mark the end of a significant chapter in Dodgers history and potentially the beginning of a new era for both the player and the franchise. Where he lands and how the Dodgers adapt will be closely watched by fans, media, and rival teams alike. Until then, the possibility of Freddie Freeman moving on remains one of the most tantalizing and discussed stories in baseball, capturing the imagination of a sport always hungry for its next big narrative twist. That's all for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay up to date with exclusive news about the Los Angeles Dodgers, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We always appreciate your comments and feedback. See you in the next video.